Hey guys, some of you may recall a couple of months ago I put out a challenge to my viewers to see who could construct the highest scoring Scrabble game such that every single play was a bingo and the game ended in a tie. I got tons of submissions, and when all was said and done, the winner ended up being a tie game at 1,210 points apiece, which was absolutely incredible. Be sure to check out the video featuring the top 3 submissions if you haven't already. I recently received another submission, and although it's several months after the deadline has passed, this submission was too incredible to not feature in a video. It's worth mentioning that this submission does use the International CSW dictionary, so it technically wasn't within the parameters of the contest, which specified the American NWL dictionary, but like I said, as I think you guys will soon see why, this game was simply too amazing not to feature in a video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. The players here are G1 and G2, and with this opening rack, G1 opens, of course, with a bingo, since otherwise this submission would be completely invalid, of Zerafin for 92 points. Now, this is a Collins-only word. I'll do my best to mention when words are only valid in Collins and not in the North American dictionary, and for those wondering, a Zerafin is an old Indian coin. G2 here with this rack bingos of all things through the X in Zerafin with Carboxyl for 73 points. And this right here, guys, is where things get very crazy. G1 has another very good bingo rack. There are a large number of bingos available. However, one bingo in particular is way flashier and way higher scoring than all the other options, and G1 finds it. It is, of all things, a 15-letter word. It is decarboxylating through the carboxyl on the board for a whopping 338 points, covering both the top middle and bottom middle triple word scores. So now, of course, player G2 is in a huge hole here, but does manage to find the playable bingo of hydrogen through the G in decarboxylating for 70 points. So getting a little bit closer to G1's score, but still down by nearly 300 points. And matters were not about to get better here for G2, as G1, despite having a very vowel-heavy rack, 5 vowels and 2 Ps, manages to bingo with the 6-vowel 8 of epopea for 78 points, retaking a nearly 400-point lead. G2, however, had a strong bingo rack here, and it managed to bingo with Neurotic. Again, not a very high-scoring bingo, but keeps the board wide open for a potential massive comeback. Will that happen? Let's see. Unfortunately for G2, G1 has drawn yet another really good bingo rack, and has a Collins-only triple-triple available of Windors through the N in Neurotic for 176 points. But, fortunately for G2, G1 misses this possibility, but still bingos, instead with Weirdos for 82 points through the E. Now this still looks like a pretty good play, as G1 now takes a nearly 400-point lead and seemingly stops G2 from triple-tripling through the N in Neurotic, which would be a very logical way for G2 to get back into this game. Now, G2 has drawn a pretty clunky rack, including a Q, a V, and an H, so at first it definitely doesn't look like G2 is going to be able to bingo back. However, a closer look reveals that G2 actually has a bingo of Vanquish available, which plays through the N in Zerafin. However, G2 can do even better. And not just a little better, a heck of a lot better. Remember how I was talking about on the last turn how G1, despite missing the triple-triple of Windors, played Weirdos, which stops G2 from triple-tripling through the N? Well, it doesn't actually stop G2 from triple-tripling through the N, because G2 didn't play Vanquish through the N in Zerafin here. G2 played Vanquish through the N in Neurotic anyway for a monster score of 395 points, making 6 valid 2-letter words, AWQI, the Collins-only UR, ID, SO, and HE. So absolutely remarkable stuff, and just like that, guys, G2 is now in the lead by 18 points, 608 to 590, and we've still got 30 more tiles in the bag, so lots more Scrabble to play. G1, however, was not about to be vanquished by G2's last play, and despite having a fairly clunky rack with 2 L's, 2 O's, and an F on it, finds the very nice bingo of Footfall through yet another F, a rare 8 containing 3 sets of duplicates, scoring 78 points. G2 now has another fairly clunky looking rack, including a J, a C, a K, and an M, but finally capitalizes on the S hook on Zerafin that has been staying open for a very long time and could potentially yield very large scores. So you might think that player G2 made the word Jacks for 132 points, which looks like a great play. However, no. G2 did something even better, playing the Collins-only triple-triple of Manjacks through the A in Epopea for 383 points. So just like that now, guys, in the span of a mere 2 turns, we've seen G2 go from down over 300 points to up over 300 points. So now, surely, with seemingly no more triple word scores available to use, G2 is going to win this game quite handily, right? Well, let's see. G1 has a lot of bingos available here, but once again finds by far and away the star play, a 6-way overlap double-double of Wheat Ear with a blank H through the A in Zarafin, once again making 6 two-letter words, W-O-H-O-E-T-T-A-E-L and A-L. Despite this awesome fit, G1 is still down over 200 points, and to make matters worse, it's G2's turn. And G2 has drawn a rack that, once again, doesn't look that good. A B and a G are both pretty clunky, as well as 3 E's. But G2 finds a disconnected 9 double-double of begetters through the T and the R in decarboxylating and Wheat Ear, hooking the S onto footfalls, covering 2 double word scores for 128 points, bringing the lead up to 340. G1 now is in dire straits. There are only 2 tiles left in the bag, which means time is of the essence if G1 is somehow going to complete this 340-point comeback. And G1 has this rack here, D-E-G-I-I-N-Z. So I'm going to let you guys pause the video for a second and see if you can figure out the incredible play that player G1 made in this position. You guys guessed it, G1 played their second 15-letter triple-triple of this game. Absolutely ridiculous. The word is dehydrogenizing along the bottom row for a mammoth 446-point play. Worth mentioning, this 15-letter word is Collins only. However, decarboxylating is valid in both the Collins and American dictionaries. So, where does a 446-point play leave us in terms of the game score? G1 is now up over 100 points, 1225 to 1119. And surely that's going to do it because G1 now only has 2 tiles left, as you guys can see, an L and a U. And G2 has garbage, a V, a U, 2 T's, and an M. So G2's best play is probably going to be just shedding a couple of these tiles in the endgame, right? Wrong. G2 bingos out with mutative to the E in begetters for a 102-point double-double. So that brings the score to 1225 to 1221. But G2 has bingoed out, and G1 still has an L and a U, which are worth a combined 2 points on their rack. So G2 gets double that for a total of 4 bonus points, bringing the final score to a tie game at 1225 apiece. So there you have it, guys. That is the new record-breaking high-scoring tie game with all bingos. Again, a little bit of an asterisk because it did use the Collins dictionary, but still, this was just too wild not to show. And it's worth mentioning, this was the first game submitted to me as part of this challenge that had 15-letter words in it. Not only one, but actually 2 of them in this case, both by the same player. I find it so incredible that the same player tripled twice with 15s in the same game and yet still couldn't pull it off. They couldn't win the game, all they could do was tie. So I think the challenge now, guys, is officially back on. If any of you can beat this using either the American or the Collins dictionary, then I would love to see it and love to feature it in a video. Really can't get enough of these games. They're absolutely awesome to behold. I know people put a ton of work into making these, so really appreciate all of you guys' engagement, and hope you guys have been enjoying the work that you're putting into these and enjoyed this video. Really appreciate the viewer who sent it to me. Thanks so much for taking the time to do that. And yeah, that's it for this one, guys. So once again, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any games that you think can beat this, please send them my way. Would love to see them, and I'll see you all soon for the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.